Have you ever wanted something so badly that it consumed your thoughts? You wake up thinking about it, go to sleep visualizing it, and you work harder than ever, convinced that your breakthrough is just around the corner. But days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and still, nothing changes. You've read the books, you've repeated the affirmations, you've stayed positive even when it hurt. And yet, the very thing you desire most still feels like it's just out of reach. And in quiet moments, a darker thought creeps in. What if it's me? What if I'm the problem? Take a breath, because here's the truth, one that might feel uncomfortable at first, but also deeply freeing. Wanting something isn't enough. Yes, I know that goes against everything we've been taught. Dream bigger, hustle harder, never give up. But let's get real. If effort alone was the answer, you'd already have everything you want. The truth is, what's stopping you isn't out there. It's in here. It's not about being lazy or not trying hard enough. It's about misalignment. Imagine driving a car with the parking brakes still on. No matter how hard you press the gas, you're not going to get far. Worse, you might burn out your engine trying. That's what it's like to chase goals when your subconscious mind is pulling in the opposite direction. Napoleon Hill once said, "You don't get what you want, you get what you are." And that hits deep. Because this isn't about blaming you, it's about freeing you. You're not broken, you're not incapable, you're not unworthy. You're simply operating with an outdated inner map, one written by past experiences, old fears, quiet beliefs you didn't even know were there. Beliefs like, success isn't safe. If I get what I want, I'll lose something important. These aren't just thoughts, they're emotional patterns wired into your nervous system. And that system, it has one job: to keep you safe, even if safe means staying stuck. So here you are, sending out a message to the universe, I want this. But underneath, your body is whispering, please don't let it happen. No wonder the results are mixed. Confused signals create confused outcomes. But what if you didn't need to push harder? What if you just needed to listen deeper? Here's something powerful you can do right now. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. Think about your biggest goal, the one that lights you up. Then ask yourself, quietly and honestly, do I truly feel safe, ready, and worthy to receive this? If the answer is anything less than a full-body yes, don't worry, you're not alone. You're just misaligned, and that can be changed. The shift doesn't start with action, it starts with awareness. And awareness changes everything. It's the turning point. The moment you stop asking, what more do I need to do? And start asking, what within me needs to be realigned? Because when you stop fighting yourself, everything gets easier. The energy you used to spend pushing against invisible walls, you'll use that to move forward, faster, freer. Let me give you a quick story. There was a woman named Sarah who had a dream of launching her own coaching business. She had the skills, the certification, the drive. But every time she'd get close, something would derail her. She'd stall on building her website. She'd undercharge. She'd shrink in conversations about her work. And she thought, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But after a moment of honest reflection, she realized, deep down, she feared success. She feared being seen, being judged, losing her quiet life. And once she saw that fear clearly, not as a flaw, but as a protective reflex, everything shifted. She didn't force herself through. She learned to calm her system, to remind herself that being seen could be safe, that she could grow and still be grounded. Her first client came 2 weeks later. This video isn't here to push you harder. It's here to help you release the brake. In the next few minutes, we'll explore the deeper emotional conflict that's been silently shaping your results. And when you understand it, you'll see that you were never broken. Just disconnected. Let's keep going. Have you ever felt like two versions of you are locked in a silent argument? One side dreams big, sets goals, writes vision boards. The other whispers doubts when no one's around. And the result? You spin your wheels. You move, but don't progress. You wonder why your efforts feel diluted, like pouring energy into a container with a hidden leak. Let's get brutally honest. You're not just dealing with external obstacles. You're navigating an invisible battle inside. You say you want success, but what if another part of you fears it? This internal tug of war is more common than you think. Consciously, you want abundance. Subconsciously, you fear what abundance might bring. More responsibility, more pressure, more exposure. What if people judge you? What if you fail publicly? What if you succeed and it changes everything? It's like placing an order at your favorite coffee shop. You say, "I'll take the success latte." Then the barista turns to make it and you mumble, "Actually, cancel it, or maybe just make it decaf." Your signals are mixed, and the universe, just like that barista, doesn't know what to do with mixed signals. Napoleon Hill warned us long ago, belief and desire must be aligned. You can't say yes in your mind while your nervous system screams no. The universe doesn't just hear what you say, it responds to what you are. And what you are is the sum of your thoughts, feelings, and energy. Here's the kicker. Most people never question their inner no. They push harder, they blame themselves, they set bigger goals, but no amount of vision boarding can override a subconscious that's locked in fear. So what can you do? You get curious. Ask yourself, what do I fear might happen if I succeed? Will I lose time with my family? Will I be seen as selfish? Will I outgrow people I love? Will I finally feel unworthy even when I have it all? Write it down. Let it out. This isn't about judging your fears. It's about acknowledging them. Because once you name the fear, you can start to disarm it. Here's a real example. Take David, a tech entrepreneur. He built his first startup from scratch, pitched to investors, and was on the brink of explosive growth. But right when success was in reach, he froze. Meetings fell through. Emails went unanswered. It was self-sabotage, and he knew it. What he didn't know was why. In a quiet moment, David admitted to himself, "I'm terrified of becoming like my dad. Successful, but emotionally distant. I don't want to lose who I am." That single realization changed everything. He didn't abandon his goals. He redefined success to include presence, integrity, and joy. And guess what? His business grew, and so did his peace. And here's the truth most videos won't tell you. Your resistance isn't laziness, it's protection. Your system isn't broken, it's loyal. It's doing its job, keeping you safe based on old, outdated definitions of danger. But you're not that person anymore. You've grown, and maybe, just maybe, it's time your inner compass caught up. There's a reason Napoleon Hill said there can be no real achievement without peace of mind. That peace isn't something you earn after success. It's the condition that makes success possible. This is why personal growth work matters. Not because it makes you more worthy, but because it helps you feel safe enough to receive what you already are worthy of. Your nervous system can't be tricked, but it can be nurtured. So if you feel stuck, misaligned, or confused about why your goals aren't showing up, look inside. That's where the static is, and that's where the clarity begins. Start by writing this. If I had everything I want tomorrow, what scares me most about that? Sit with the answer. Don't rush past it. That's where the healing starts. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become someone who feels safe having what you want. And when that happens, everything starts to flow. Let's keep going. You've done everything they told you to do. Vision boards, morning routines, SMART goals, and yet here you are, still stuck. But what if stuck doesn't mean failure? What if stuck is feedback? See, most of us think being stuck means we're doing something wrong. So we try harder, push more, stack new habits. But effort without alignment is like tuning a radio to the wrong frequency. You only get static. You can't hear the song, not because the station doesn't exist, but because you're not dialed in. Let's be real. The problem isn't that you don't want it enough. It's that part of you doesn't feel ready to receive it. There's a hidden belief, tucked somewhere deep inside, that whispers, "Maybe I don't deserve this." And no amount of strategy can override that kind of internal story. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said, "Desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible." But here's the catch. If your faith is fractured, your desire becomes noise. It's not a signal to the universe. It's static. This is where most people give up. They tell themselves they've failed. But what's really happening is misalignment. Think of your mind, your emotions, and your nervous system as 3 dials. For true manifestation, all 3 must say yes. If your mind wants it, but your body says it's not safe, or your emotions carry old wounds that whisper, "You're not enough," then your signal is scrambled. No wonder nothing's coming through. But here's the truth. Misalignment isn't permanent. It's a signal, not a sentence. It's a message saying, pause, something inside needs attention. And maybe you've never thought of it this way before, but being stuck might actually be your body protecting you from burnout, from rejection, from a success you don't feel emotionally prepared to hold. It's not sabotage, it's safety. You're not failing, you're buffering. So what do? You listen. Not with panic, but with presence. Ask yourself, if I really believed I was worthy, safe, and ready, what would change? What decisions would feel easier? What opportunities would I stop ignoring? What fears would finally lose their grip? Sometimes the bravest thing isn't to push through. It's to pause and tune in. Let's take an example. Julia had always dreamed of becoming a public speaker. She studied the craft, followed the top speakers, even wrote drafts of her keynote. But every time she got close to booking her first event, she pulled back. Something always came up. One day in a coaching session, she admitted, "When I was a kid, I got laughed at for reading out loud. My body still remembers that." That memory, decades old, was still running the show. It wasn't until Julia acknowledged that pain and offered herself compassion that things shifted. She practiced, not to perfect a speech, but to show her nervous system that speaking could be safe now. And slowly, her yes became real. Her first talk, a standing ovation. Another example, Mark had a dream of doubling his income. He took all the right steps, invested in mentorship, applied for promotions, launched a side hustle. But money always slipped through his fingers. Bills came unexpectedly. Clients canceled. Then one night, during a journaling session, he uncovered an old message from childhood. Rich people are greedy. That belief, buried deep, created a block. Once Mark started redefining wealth as generosity and impact, his financial results changed dramatically. Real alignment isn't about positive thinking. It's about congruence between what you want and what you feel ready for. And this work isn't always pretty. Sometimes it brings up tears, sometimes it surfaces old wounds. But on the other side of that honesty, there's freedom. Because when your system finally feels safe enough to say yes, really deeply yes, things move fast. That's when desire turns into direction. That's when vision becomes reality. So if you're stuck, don't panic. Don't label yourself broken. Just ask, what inside me isn't saying yes yet? Give that part attention, give it care, and give it time. Because you don't need to become more. You need to become true. You've made it this far. Don't stop here. Let's keep going. You thought you were stuck. You thought something was wrong with you. But what if you were never stuck at all? What if your block was never a flaw, but a form of protection? Let's get honest. That pattern of pulling back right before a breakthrough, procrastinating when things start to click, doubting yourself when momentum builds, that wasn't sabotage. It was your nervous system doing what it's designed to do. Keep you safe. You weren't lazy. You weren't weak. You were misaligned with the future you're trying to step into. And deep down, a part of you was saying, I'm not ready for this. It's not safe yet. But what if that part of you is not your enemy, but your messenger? Imagine trying to run a marathon with a rock in your shoe. You could ignore it, push through, grind harder, or you could pause, take the rock out, and finally move freely. And let's be real. If success were a marathon, some of us would be showing up with flip-flops and iced coffee. That's not sabotage. That's just being unprepared and a little bit caffeinated. Funny as that sounds, beneath every laugh is a truth. Many of us are sprinting toward goals without ever checking what's tripping us up inside. Napoleon Hill understood this. He said, there can be no real achievement without peace of mind. What most people miss is this. Your mind can only be at peace when your inner world agrees with your outer goals. So let's stop asking, how do I push harder? And start asking, what part of me still doesn't feel safe having this? Because when all of you, your mind, your emotions, your energy, say yes in harmony, that's when things begin to flow. Aaron learned that. Years building his consulting business, always one step away from his breakthrough, until he saw it. If I succeed, I can't hide anymore. He didn't fight that fear. He listened to it. He rewrote the story, and everything changed. Maya? She longed for love, but kept running from intimacy. Her belief? Love means losing myself. until she found a new truth. Love can mean freedom too. Today, she's in the healthiest relationship she's ever known, not because she changed who she was, but because she finally felt safe being loved. And there's Kevin, a music teacher, who dreamed of starting his own creative studio. Every time he planned to leave his job, something held him back. Through reflection, he realized he was carrying guilt. He feared success meant leaving his struggling family behind. But success didn't have to mean separation. It could mean support. That shift gave him permission to grow. You're not broken. You've just been buffering, waiting for your system to feel safe enough to let it in. Tonight, write a letter from your resistance. Let it speak. Ask, what are you trying to protect me from? Then respond, with compassion, not judgment. You might be surprised what you hear. And if you're comfortable, share one line from that letter with someone you trust. You never know who it might help. Now reflect on this. Do I need to hustle more, or do I need to listen deeper? And if this message resonated with you, stay tuned for what's next. We'll explore how to recognize when your body is silently saying no, and what it takes to create true, lasting alignment. Because this isn't about forcing success. It's about becoming the person who feels safe living it. You don't need to earn your worth. You don't need to chase what's already inside you. All you need is the courage to come home to yourself. You were never blocked, just disconnected. And now, you're reconnecting. So here's one last question to carry into tomorrow. What would your life look like if you trusted yourself fully? Let's keep going.